welcome to our webinar about the Professional Science Master's Program in Biotechnology at San Jose State. I'm here with my co-director, Dr. Collins, and also two alumni, Arisa and Colin, Arisa Paul and Colin Daly. So I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get started. I'm the director of the program, but I'll throw it over to them.
Okay, well, I'm Elaine Collins. I'm the program coordinator. So I help with advising students on how to graduate and what classes to take.
All right, I can go. So my name is Colin Daly. I currently work for a CRO called Precision for Medicine as a director of business development. Graduated from the program in 2020. Me and Arisa were in the same class and partnered through a lot of projects, so definitely a lot of familiarity with the NBT and CERN program.
I'm Arisa, and I'm currently a scientist at Eigen Therapeutics, a small startup. I graduated the MBT program in 2020 with Colin, and I've been working in the industry ever since in cancer research.
All righty. Well, thanks you guys for coming, and welcome to everybody who's attending the seminar. I'm going to give you a small overview of the program, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And I'm sure Colin, Elaine, and Arisa also be happy to answer questions from a different perspective. All right. So as you can see here, this is San Jose State. If you haven't been there yet, this is the center of the campus, the student union, and there's some people around. So let's see if I can move the slides. That's another story. Doesn't want me to. Okay. Let's see. Let me escape here for a minute and see if I can go on. So let me try this and see if I can move it now. Sorry, but better. So our first slide shows you a little bit about why an MBT degree and what biotechnology it really is. So there's a lot of discussion. Even when I discuss with my colleagues, everybody has a different perspective, but biotechnology has a very broad field. So it includes everything we see here. Of course, pharmaceuticals, which are pharma industry, it's a very big industry. Then we have diagnostics, research, personalized medicine. Oops, sorry. I should use my laser pointer. And then we have medical innovation, biofuels, which not all that popular anymore at the moment, testing, and wholesale. So these are all areas that go into biotechnology. So it's the application of science and technology to living organisms as a basic definition. So here's a little bit about the companies. So in California, we have a lot of biotech companies, especially in the Bay Area. So you can see this is a little bit older of a data, but you can see we started with 110,000 here, and in 2020 with 124. So there's definitely growth going on. The state that has higher growth is Texas, but they started with a lot less companies. And so in every state, we have some of the companies, but clearly in California, we have most of them, and we have quite a bit of growth still to go. So establishments in the life science sector in California, there is a wide variety of companies. So it ranges from agricultural feedstock to feedstock and industrial biosciences. Medical devices is very popular, drugs, of course, bioscience-related distribution, research testing, and these are the total life science establishments. So 12,000, more than 12,000. Okay, that's 2019 to 2020. So, I guess one of the questions everybody always has is salary. And I can't really tell you all the starting salaries, but I know you get more than me and in school. So here you can see the employees and the average wages. So you can see in San Diego, it's around 164,425. The highest is in the Bay Area. So you find in the Alameda, $150,680. And also they're the most employees. Santa Clara is 198. San Mateo, it's definitely the most of them all. The only caveat here is that this is probably not the entry-level salary. So you do have to work your way up. to get the salary, but the salary is pretty substantial in the biotechnology industry. Of course, the risk is a little substantial as well, because if you have a startup company, it may not survive or it may get bought up. So you have to always be aware of networking and finding your next job. So there's a different types of employment. So these are the employees' employment contribution for the direct employees. They're 313,000. Then, of course, you have upward the indirect employment and then the induced employment. So all this is like part of the industry. This is like people designing the computer programs and doing bioinformatics, and then something that comes out of the industry. So there's the total employment contribution is over $1 billion. So the degree that we have is a combination of business and hands-on science. So you can see the business here. This is a view from the library in San Jose State. And here's one of our students looking at the inverted microscope, looking at a cell culture. So we have both. It's not always that easy because they don't have that much in common, but it takes a little bit while to get for the science students to get used to the business, and also vice versa. So let's take a look at the degree. Why we are centrally located. So we have a lot of jobs around. So this would be a good thing for finding jobs. If we're in the middle of the Silicon Valley, so if you want to go to Agile, for example, you just go down Stevens Creek. So there's a lot of companies very closely situated to San Jose State. There's a lot of networking going on. We have lots of close networks with the industry. We have an advisory board that comes once a year, and some of the people there are also graduates of the program. And there is continuous growth, as we just said. The industry keeps on growing, different branches. So that's why we are pretty well located here in the Silicon Valley. So here's the 2-year program planner. So this program is a 2-year program, and it starts the first year, and it's quite a number of courses because these courses all have pretty much multiple parts. The 202 TA class is the seminar in biotech products. And basically what you do here is you learn about writing a grant, then you learn about intellectual property, finance, and intellectual property, finance, and marketing. Sorry. And then 221T is bioinformatics. So we have a whole bioinformatics class that teaches you how to use different softwares. And this is the business class, 282A. And it's equivalent to the beginning MBA class. So it's management of innovation in the biotech sector and product development. This is probably the least science class, and it's always a little bit rough on the students because it's a lot about ethics and what type of manager you are. But eventually, they really, really like it. 202TB is in the spring, and that is the drug device development process where we bring in speakers from all across the industry that give seminars on, for example, the discovery process, pharmacology, manufacturing, marketing, business development. And so students learn all about the device development process. Then we have an advanced molecular techniques class, which tells you a little bit more about the current techniques that there are, about CRISPR, about cell culture, about sequencing, next generation sequencing. So you learn a few things here. And then there's the operations management class, which is the second MBA class. Then we have, in the summer, we normally ask the students to find an internship if they're not working already. And we try to give you the opportunities, but you have to apply for the internship. So it's not something we just send your way. We just try to hook you up with the right people. And we also have a project management class if we can get the instructor there. That is an online class. Then in the fall, we have Biotech Business 222TC, which is the second part of the finance, managerial finance. Then we have an elective that you can have a business elective or a science elective. Business, you can choose from the MBA for professionals. So there's all kinds of classes, and we'll go over them. Science, you can have immunological techniques. And then we have our entrepreneur come in to talk to you about company management. Also in the summer, we ask people as a team to come up with an idea for a start a biotech company. And our entrepreneur, Dr. Schwartz, takes that idea and forms it into a business plan, an oral business plan, a business plan pitch. And that is kind of your thesis. So you learn how to put a business plan together, and you're going to use all the things you learned the first year, the finance, the marketing, everything, the science, and put that together. In the last semester, you have the entrepreneur again. He's going to teach fundraising, and then you have another opportunity for business or science electives. We got a regulatory affairs class, and we have Python. We also have more MBA classes, and then finally you have a colloquium, and that's where you learn, where we get people ready for the job market. So basically, we're going to do mock interviews. You're working on your resume. And so there's various things, an elevator pitch, and you're going to write down your business plan. So the whole curriculum is 2 years. So you'll be done after 2 years. If you maintain the grades and work on everything, then 2 years will be it. And then there will be graduation. So that's a little bit more of a roadmap. So we have 202, that's the same thing before. And then we have the other 3 classes. So the first year is very class intensive. The summer you have the internship. Then you have more electives and advanced classes the second year. So here are some of the topics. The biotech seminar topics. So we have the business of biotechnology, and these are all the things we go over in all of the classes. So we have the drug device development process, research and development, which is preclinical, process and product development, clinical development. Then we have a regulatory affairs and intellectual property, manufacturing to get the drugs on the market, business development, quality control. So these are all topics, marketing, market and company analysis, and finally business plans. So these are all the topics we're going to go over in the Biology 202 classes. And you'll become very familiar with some of the business side. And this is Dr. Schwartz, our entrepreneur. And here's one of our classes. Everybody's getting excited. He really likes teaching, so he gets really excited. People say they don't notice the time pass by because there's a lot of stuff to do during the classes. So then we have the science electives, which are the advanced immunological techniques. It's taught by one of our graduates who's working in a animal lab in Stanford. So he's teaching immunohistochemistry and some fluorescent microbiology. And then we also can set up a pharmacology class. We haven't had it recently, but if people are interested, we have a regulatory affairs class with the senior VP for regulatory affairs. He's retired now. He's from CEPI, and he teaches that class. And then a Python class, which is a language, programming language for biologists. If you're interested in research, you can also pick up an independent project with one of the faculty, and we try to support them. So that's kind of the science elective. Then we have the MBA business electives, and here you find a whole host of electives. So a lot of management, marketing management, so managers, then you have some accounting and strategic marketing. So there's a whole array of classes that you can take. We normally allow you to take one each semester in the second year. Okay, and here's some of the students. This is Safwan, this is Amanda, and this is the Silicon Valley Innovation Challenge. I forgot to tell you about that one, sorry. So during your second year, we ask you to enter your ideas into the Silicon Valley Innovation Challenge. And if you then get accepted, you have to present a poster with your team. And we have gotten probably everybody accepted the last few years, and they all presented the poster. And it's kind of interesting because you meet the business professors, you meet chemical engineering, you meet a lot of different people, and they've presented their idea. All right, so then there's some more. So these people you probably recognize from the screen. So here's what we're trying to teach. Basically, we're trying to teach you some entrepreneurial skills. So the skills that are leadership and teamwork. So you work on that. The teamwork is very important because it goes throughout the entire class. Also with teamwork comes conflict resolution, communication, strategic thinking, business plans, and entrepreneurship. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but if you're working in a company, eventually you need all of these skills. And these are more Silicon Valley Innovation Challenge pictures. So here's Colin and Arisa who show their poster. And then we have Vivian and Grace. What they did was they put together a gene, they put together a software for genes to determine the right treatment for depression. And so that was kind of interesting. And here's a whole group of students. They worked on a device they can take to the restaurant and see if there's allergens in the food. So they can just stick it in the food. So there's a lot of different ideas. It's not so easy, but you can do it as a team. And so it's good to discuss with your team, and everybody comes up with different ideas. So that's only a few of the ideas over the years. So what's the value of the MBT? Some of it is transition if you want to go from the lab into the business and into the biotech company. Promotion, some people get promoted pretty much faster. You can establish yourself. You also can establish a network. We have a lot of people on LinkedIn, and we have a network there with the alumni and also development of your skills. So here are some of our alumni. And this goes back a ways. We have quite a few alumni now. Vinayak was to be in Genentech, but he just joined a new company, so they all kind of moved along. We have project management people. We have medical operations, alumni, sales, and also research associates. So there's some more research associates. And here's Colin. He's now in business development. He can talk to you about that. For research associate. Okay, so here's our application. So the deadline is April 1st, 2025. And so you're going to apply at Cal State, you apply. So you need to send an official transcript, the GRE to me, statement of purpose, resume, and 2 letters of recommendation. For international students, you have a little more to do. It's the best evaluation of transcript, the TOEFL, and the financial declaration of passport copy. And you can find more information here at graduate admissions, but you can also email me because it tends to be a little bit confusing especially for the international students. Alrighty. Let's see. So I think here's our graduation. And we have had the graduation at City Hall, but we normally put on a special graduation. And here's my email address. All right, so I'll be happy to answer any questions. And also, I'm sure Colin and Arisa will be happy to answer any questions as well. Let me see. I don't see him right now, so somebody has to help me.
Actually, Colin and Arisa, do you want to talk about your experience in the program and how that's helped you get the career you have now?
Sure. Yeah. Recently,
Let me answer one question because I had one. I think you can would a CV work instead of a resume, or does it have to be a resume? So a CV would work as well. Go ahead, Colin. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, all of a sudden my Zoom thing is not behaving. 1 second here. So I just want to make sure I can actually face the camera. I would say that the MBT program was, basically I wouldn't be where I'm at if not for the MBT program. So I also was part of CERM. And Dr. Rech, sorry if I also praise CERM a little bit here, but I view that without those two together, that I would not be anywhere close to where I'm at. So me and Arisa, you might hear the redundancies between us because we kind of follow the same path, but we both did CERM and intern for the same company, but that's where kind of where our paths diverged a little bit. And so I had really emphasized always wanted to go into BD. And so I was able to leverage the MBT degree, and basically with the employer that we were at called Notable Labs, they knew that I wanted to go in BD, so I had the opportunity to go into our in-licensing work. But then as I went and got other jobs later on, I was able to leverage this and always say, hey, I took MBA courses. My degree was very business focused as well. And so that always kind of gave me the leg up that I needed in order to kind of get into that next, arena in regards to sales and business development. So, aside from the fact of just the degree, everything else, the entrepreneurial spirit that Dr. Rech has mentioned is quite real. You really need to search for those opportunities. They're there, and they're gonna help you as much as you can. But part of this was actually learning how to find people, how to network, how to try to kind of make sure that you can, be memorable in people's mind for when you apply to a job. That's really part of the program as well. And I think the MBT courses really emphasize that you got to be a self-starter in the Bay Area when it comes to biotech. And if you can learn that skill, then you're going to be good. You're going to, do all right. So I can ramble. So I'm going to pause there. If there's any questions, then I'll hand it off to Arisa.
So like Colin said, that I was part of the MBT and the CERM program. I joined MBT specifically to learn the business side of biotech. I have always been in the R&D side. And that is definitely something that I learned through the program. The entrepreneurship course did really teach us that on how to build a product that will like a scientific product that will eventually help the biotech world. And I think the program also gave me a lot of opportunity to meet and network with different people through the guest lectures that were coming and how they were teaching. They were coming from the industry and they were teaching everything that was relevant. And that is something I really appreciated a lot. And as a result, I also got to network and get referrals for the internship when I was looking for internship. So that helped me out quite a bit. And because of that internship, I was able to get a job. And since then, I have been working in the industry. So yeah, it has been really exciting time, especially in the Bay Area when you meet really interesting people and working on innovative things. I think it's been a great experience from all the way finishing up the program and till now, how MBT has helped me. And then something Dr. Rech also spoke about was the network. Whenever I am interested in a job, I've always reached out to the MBT network, and we always have people in different companies working there, and they're always open to help us out whenever we drop a message saying that we are from the program, can you please refer me to this job, and so on, and they're always there to help. So we have a really huge network that have graduated from this program. So that is something I really appreciated as well.
So I have another question. If the program is suited for potential students that are fully employed, and it really is, we have a lot of fully employed students, and you don't really have to look for an internship, but normally what we do is we ask you to apply to have a little different project in the summer so you can use all the skills you learned in the.
And for context, me and Arisa, so we were doing our internship work, our fellowship in Foster City, and we would come to San Jose every night. So I mean, it was a pretty well-known thing that we was able to work during the day and come to class at night. So it definitely can fit that schedule.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Both Colin and Arisa, you mentioned you were in the CERM program. Could you tell people what that is?
Yeah, so CERM is California Institute of Regenerative Medicine. That's what it stands for. So essentially, it's a grant that is given to help students study in regenerative medicine. So if you are looking to be part of the CERM program, you need to apply through MBT. So what CERM offers is, of course, you have the MBT courses in the evening, but in the mornings you go and you have lab work with stem cells and in regenerative medicine, and you have 1 year of internship, which you will be given an opportunity if you're like a CERM student. By default, you will get that internship because CERM is also affiliated with companies as well as academic labs. So based on your interest, you will be going and meeting these people from the companies and the labs, and you will be able to do the internship. So that's what we were part of. So we didn't have a full-time job. So mornings we were going to the lab to do our internship, or we were in school getting hands-on lab experience, and evenings we had the MBT courses.
Right, another question about the TOEFL. So the TOEFL can be waived if you have a degree from an English speaking school, but it's part of the requirement of the university. So you're gonna have to contact the graduate admissions to see what they can do for you. So it's not my decision to make. TOEFL is part of your application, and also WES evaluation as well. So the school does only accept WES evaluation as much as I know. Do you know, Albert? I think that's what it is.
You're correct.
Okay.
On the graduate studies, on the graduate gate page, if you look under under English placement test, it tells you which, or in somewhere in their pages, it does tell you which colleges, international colleges, they don't require TOEFLs for.
I think the other one is about having good experience and not such a good GPA. So I think you do have a chance to get into the program. So if you have a lot of experience, we can ask for exception if your GPA is lower than 2.5. So we can make a case for that.
And I think I should also note that the CERN program is called Skill at San Jose State. So it's the Stem Cell Internship Laboratory Learning Program. And they not only do they pay give you basically some money during your internship, they also will try and give you cash towards your program. So it was a pretty financially helpful program as well to combine with the MBT program where I'd say financially, I came out ahead a lot of folks that maybe did an MBA or were in other master's programs at the time. So it was something else that combining those two really helped me out a lot and kind of put me in a pretty good place in regards to other grad programs.
Any questions for the graduates for Arisa and Colin? The alumni, I should say.
I think there was a question about how long after graduating do we get a job?
Oh, okay, go for it.
Arisa, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. Oh, Arisa, okay.
Getting help with like Dr. Rex said, we got help with writing up our CVs, and I think we are heavily encouraged to network. So what I did was, before I graduated, I started networking quite a bit in going for meetups and groups, and also going to conferences. So that really helped me network and helped me get interviews. So I think, definitely the program helps. And again, as I mentioned, we have alumni all over the place, so they will put you guys in touch in case you're interested in some job or internship.
Yeah, so I think they're also saying how long do we wait after we graduate so we got a job.
Oh, sorry, was that the question? I thought
yeah. It's how long after graduating. But
I didn't see the question. Okay, how long do we wait?
Yeah, basically we had jobs right out of graduation pretty much. Yeah. So I can give you a longer story about that, but we basically Risa graduated in the height of COVID. So that was June 2020. And there was hiring freeze. I'm sure Dr. Rech remembers that pretty well. That was a tough time. But me and Arisa, because we had done our internship through the CERN program, we had been able to secure a job through that. So we actually had a job right after graduation. But it was dicey, I'll tell you. That was different days back then.
And there's another question. Can the job potentially help with, or the internship help with funding the tuition? And will we have support for finding a job during the fall and spring semesters beside the summer internship? And the answer to that is yes, we encourage you to work during the program. We will help you. The classes help you, but we can also give individual help. And you want to add more to that, Sabina?
No, I think what was the end of the question I didn't quite get. So sorry.
Oh, do they have support helping to find a job during
Yeah.
other semesters, not just the summer internship?
No, yeah. So we go through your resume every semester. So I look at your resume every semester, and we I'm also connected with a lot of people in the industry. So whenever I get a note of an internship or of a job, then I will send it to all the students. And we also have connections with Toby Friedman, who's like a recruiter, and basically, um, she has a lot of connections. And she has a lot of places where networking takes place. So we kind of put that along as well. So it's partly me getting the opportunities out and partly you trying to go to all these events. So you have to do something to sitting at home doesn't work, but but otherwise you're pretty good at, getting the opportunities.
Sabina,
So
there's also now a question about the difference between the MPDM, the Medical Product Device Management Program at San Jose State, and the
yeah,
MBT. Do you want to address that?
yeah, sure. The MBT program is more general. The MPDM program focuses on medical devices and clinical trials on their statistics, but they don't have any science courses. So you're not getting any lab courses in the MPDM program. And they both have business or components to them, but the MPDM program has no science.
So the MPDM program would not be eligible for OPT for international students.
By itself, no, no.
I also wanted to add about the financial support because in the first year, I remember TAing as well. So that also helped me financially. That is an option that's available.
And you can as a graduate, as an international student, you can work half time, I think, but you have to be here at least one semester and
Yeah.
take. Otherwise, you can't work half time. And if you're not international, you can work full time. Lots of people do. It's not the easiest thing, but you can get it done. Except, there's not so much spare time if you work full time. And I think Iris Colin can tell you because they had to do a full time internship. And so it's
Yeah.
not so easy because you have to do homework and you have to go to class at night. So, but you can get it done.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what helped train me. Like I think for both of us, as soon as we were graduating, it actually felt like, oh, we have time. Like that transition wasn't that hard. Because there was a question here about the transition going from school to a full-time job, and I was going to say, oh, yo, that transition was easy because we all of our day was spoken for when we were doing the CERM and MBT program together. So that one was good. And if people are working and doing night classes, yeah, it usually is actually a little bit easier once you're done with the program, frankly. So I think it's not too bad.
So the other question was about classes online. And we do have I think we do have the opportunity. We don't have many classes online. So the required classes are normally not online. Sometimes we get a seminar online because the speaker can't get there or is in a different place. But the entire class probably not because it's better if you can face your team and work with your team. Working with team online, it's okay, but it's not the same. All the instructors are like, no, we want people come in person.
I support that as well. I think it's a lot of the team projects and everything else. If you're trying to do it online, it's not the same. So I don't know, Risa, if you feel the same way. I feel like the in person was pretty critical.
Yeah, I felt great coming to class because I felt like at the end of our course, everything became online because that time COVID hit and we had few online classes and I really missed interacting with our classmates. Yeah.
So class timings, they start at 6. So most of our classes start at 6 and they go till about 9. The business classes normally are longer, but I think the business professors now knew that it doesn't work. If the class goes till 10, the students are not going to stick with it. So they have Saturday classes too. But there's not any classes during the day. The only class that is a little earlier is the lab class because we need the technician support and the technician's not so crazy about going home at 11. So it has to start around 4:30. But, so we can work around that. But There is the classes are not 5 days a week. Classes are normally 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days. So lab classes twice a week, so that's 4 days a week.
And
But
some
you
of
have
the classes also don't last the whole semester. They're like 6 or 8 weeks.
yeah. So the business classes don't last the whole semester, but therefore they're faster. They have more stuff stuffed into the 8 weeks. So it's a whole semester class in 8 weeks, and that's always not always easy to deal with. But that's how the business department works, or the business school. Oh, I guess can you explain the CIRM again? It's CIRM. So this, but the center, tell them again. California Institute for
Oh,
Regenerative Medicine. That's what it is.
but the program is called Skill.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
just
send a link in the chat to it, just so that way they can.
yeah. It's run by the Institute of Regenerative Medicine, but the program is called Skill. And you have to interview separately with the directors of Skill. So if you're interested in it, let us know on your application, and then we'll set up an interview with the director of Skill. It's a different interview. We normally send them all your materials because it's no point for you sending them in twice, but they do want to interview you because it's a different type of program. And the combined program, it's really not that easy. You can ask Colin and Arisa. So the combined program is an extra challenge because there's a lot of labs and a lot of data. So you can't really work if you are in the combined program until you have your internship.
But just it's kind of interesting. So I'm now so as a CRO, I talk to a lot of different companies. There's a company called Feast Therapeutics, and they actually still we ended up talking about their different pipelines and programs, and they mentioned that they had a CERN program because they're attached to a Stanford lab. And so that's they were still very highly like they said basically everyone who comes out of that program they've had really good experience with. So I think there's people that even did MBT as well that were part of that CERN program. So it's still a pretty robust placement program, and people do, if you want to go into industry, that's great. If you want to go to academia, and when you combine it with the MBT program, it's very tough, but you come out with a pretty formidable skill set.
Any other questions?
I'll just say this, Dr. Schwartz is the best. You'll enjoy those classes the most.
He's very excited. He likes teaching. He has a lot of experience in the industry, but you have to work.
Oh, yes. Yes. He's going to challenge you.
Yeah.
And he's also a musician.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to make it to any of his shows yet, but I want to someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are on his mail list. Oh, he has a gig he would send us.
Yeah, he does. Okay, I think for the GRE, you need to have the general GRE. So it's not only writing. So it's supposed to be the general GRE, and we're looking at your writing score. So preparing for it, I think the best week is just do different types of writing all along. Think about what you can write and work on your writing skills. Not really. So the biotech degree, I don't think that means you're more in a niche field. I think there's a lot of stuff in biotech. If you want to know about the careers in biotech, the book by Toby Friedman, Careers in Biotech, is very good. She interviewed like 100 different people in all different areas, so you should take a look. So there's a lot of stuff in biotech, including medical devices. The average number of applicants, it changes from year to year. We look for about 30. We accept more than 20 because not everybody's going to come because they have other offers and they want to go to other schools or they have other things going on. So,
Yeah, and the classes are all you're with the same cohort.
Yeah.
And so we like to have no more than 24 students in any cohort.
Any more questions?
I just want to say one more thing about the Silicon Valley Innovation Challenge. Um, that's a challenge that's open to everyone at San Jose State University. And we're one of the smallest programs. Like I said, a maximum of 24 students in any cohort. But in the last few years, we win one, two, or three, or four, or five of the top of the awards out of the whole campus.
Our claim to fame. I think somebody's also asking about competition in biotech between biotech and pharmaceutical fields. I think they have a collaborative relationship because I think pharmaceutical is part of biotech. So that's not really a competition. I mean, it's just all kind of go together. The letters of recommendation, they don't have to come from a professor. They can come from any mentor that can speak to why you want to go into this field. So we're trying to look for people who are interested. We don't have, it's as you can tell, it's a lot of work to go to the classes, and so you really have to have some kind of passion for it. And so if you're really interested for it, it has to kind of go beyond making a lot of money. So if anybody can speak to your ability, then that would be good. Prerequisite courses, normally since we have a lab course, I think any kind of general genetics, if you haven't had it, general genetic, molecular genetics, so you can work with DNA and maybe have a little bit idea about bioinformatics. So it's hard if you never had any biology or genetics, it's hard to start from scratch. That's the only thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that kind of courses. It can be online, it doesn't matter.
And then I'm just going to jump in real quick and say, I just know the internships, we keep talking about it, but the internship program is one of the most important parts, I'd say, unless you're already working full time at a company. The internships really helped a lot of people in our MBT cohort launch into their next job. So that's something that is really important. And if you're going to join, make sure you start looking early for those opportunities, because that really is important, not leave it kind of last second.
Right. So deadlines, I guess the question was about the deadlines. It's kind of a rolling it's rolling admission. So the deadline, it's April 1st because all the international students need a visa and they need to get all their stuff in. So the document deadline is April 15th. And so we kind of try to interview people as we go along when we have enough people in the pool, and then we have to wait though because the university has to have the final say in the admission. So we tell them, and if we get all your documents early, then we can accept you. So if they're still waiting, we can't accept you. So we just can say, okay, we want you, but the university has to make the final call on that. Well, if the Coursera course is if it's in that area and gives you enough, that's fine. That's fine. We don't have a whole list of courses that we need. I mean, so it's not really a requirement, but like I said, it's good to have some kind of idea about molecular biology or DNA.
And the letters of recommendation are due at the document deadline.
Yes. Yeah, and I think now change a little bit. You can have them upload the letters to what was this?
Cal State
Delay
Apply.
State Apply.
Yeah.
So you have your references, upload the letter there. The other way to do is if you don't want to do that, you can have them send them to me to my email.
And actually for the ones for Cal State Apply, you just put the person you want to write the letter for you, their email, and then they send it directly to Cal State Apply.
So it's as easy as we can make it, I think.
So Colin and Arisa, what did you find the most challenging part of the MBT program?
Colin, you go first.
I think there's a couple different components. Work-life balance, as we mentioned before, when you're doing both the skill and MBT program, that was very tough. MBT courses specifically, I think the thing that pushed us the most was the classes with Dr. Schwartz, where he kind of would pressure test your companies that you would devise, or he would give you different scenarios, and you really had to kind of think through, and it'd be challenging. I think those were the hardest. And then I think anything when it came to, basically just trying to find jobs and search, like that's not an easy part of the gig, but it's definitely the most important.
Yeah, I think I found the workload challenging, but at the end of it, it was all worth it because it got me a job. And I think it was also in between all of that, looking for a job and working on your CV was challenging as well, because you have to look for a job as well as completing your courses and so on. So some of the MBA courses were a bit hard for me because again, I come from the R&D background. So those were hard. I definitely learned something new, but it was a new challenge for me to navigate through it. So I learned something there.
Not uncommon though. Everybody taking MBA classes that are scientists found it a challenge. Just some people more than others, but it's mostly challenging.
Yeah, but it definitely helped me understand the biotech world, like the business side of it. So that was very useful.
Very good. I guess another question is so the biotech degree is not quite, well, it's a similar level, but not quite the same. So in the MBA, they could give you more ideas about the business. So it's mostly business oriented. And so these are the business classes. But if you want to get into biotech industry, it's better to have an idea about some of the science and some of the developed R&D as well. The classes are graded with a letter grade because you need to maintain a B average to be in graduate school. It's the same for every student in graduate school. So we grade them with a letter grade. There's only one class with credit, no credit, which is the final class, which is probably good because by the final semester, people are not ready to work for a lot more grades.
Isn't the internship also credit, no credit?
Yeah, that's true because we can't really grade the internship. So we get an evaluation of your performance, but we're not giving you a grade for that one. Thanks.
I also like to chime in about the MBA. So, because a lot of my colleagues have MBAs, and what I've seen is that basically, as soon as I had some business development experience, people didn't care about whether, like, if it was, as long as I said, hey, I say the professional science masters, I took MBA courses. Whenever I was in interviews, they were like, okay, cool. You're basically, you're going to check the mark. If you don't have any business development experience, that's when you can kind of see a little bit of that discrepancy. People are like, oh, okay, well, if someone has a pure MBA versus your MBT, that might somewhat delineate you. But if you've got any kind of business development experience, which you can get from marketing, different kind of sales, roles that are, there's just ways that you can kind of get started. As soon as you have that and your MBT degree, then I have not seen a difference.
So normally people get jobs right out of graduation. So we find that normally 90% of the people have a job. There's always one or two people who have a little bit of a hard time, and we try to help them out. But most people do get a job right after graduation. Some people are not interested. They want to go traveling after working 24/7, so they're trying to go do something else. But yeah, so the high percentage is pretty high. It changes from year to year depending on the economy, so I can't really guarantee it, just like the internships. It's not always the same. The MBT, the biotech program is more project based, I would say, in a lot of cases. There's some exams, but not a lot. Not a lot. Is the recording available, Albert?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. I'm not in charge of the recording. But you can always send me email and ask me more questions. Okay? You guys calling Arissa, you want any last words?
Feel free to find me on LinkedIn. Always happy to talk to people. I've had different people, multiple actually, people from the MBT program reach out to me over the years. And I've kind of helped them either look at, CVs once they're in the program, resumes as they're starting to graduate, or just have conversations about, their career path. So always happy to chat with any people who are in the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, same. Just like Colin, please connect me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. I was also an international student, so if you have any questions regarding that, I'm happy to answer anything.
All right. I guess if there's no more questions, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Good luck.